Watatunga is a wildlife reserve created for endangered deer and antelope from all over the world and bird species. The reserve itself, 170 acres, it's made up of woodland, lakes, meadows and lots of different habitat, which is absolutely vital for the animals and the birds. We have the biggest collection of deer and antelope in Europe in one site, and a lot of those are critically endangered. We've got lots of native birds, oyster catchers, terns, barn owls coming in as well. So it's in a really exciting place. We've created this reserve for endangered species, and the visitors are actually secondary coming into the reserve, but the exciting thing is that they can travel around the reserve in their own electric buggies. We have got the club car onward. We have 10 vehicles on site, and the important thing for me was to share the reserve with visitors.
Crucially, we opened in the middle of a pandemic in 2020, and so in order to get started and get going at all, we needed to be able to keep everybody safe and in their own isolated bubbles. We had been thinking of trailers, but the buggies were an absolute genius win for us and meant that we could welcome people safely on site here. Since then, the feedback has been so positive about the buggies. People really enjoy driving them, and so they're very much here to stay. And it's one of the unique selling points really of Watatunga is the self-drive safari element. Trying
to ask guests to stay on the tracks and not go off the tracks. Most of them are extremely well behaved, but occasionally someone will just try and get that extra shot and drive off the track. So I had to think about technology and who might be able to provide a fantastic solution to this. I'm not a golfer myself, but I had seen where golf courses can monitor the buggies and monitor where they go, and the exciting thing there was that potentially we could treat the reserve as a golf course or similar. And so talking to Club Car and the team behind the Visage system, we were able to then map out the reserve and manage the buggies with geofences so that we could control them so that they stayed on the tracks, which enabled me to then allow people to come and stay in the accommodation and drive in the reserve whenever they wanted to. With the Club Car onward, we have two levels actually. We have the raised one and then we have the lowered one, both running on lithium batteries, which for us, because we're charging them at different times, it's much easier. We have low maintenance on the battery system, and they go and it's absolutely fantastic, and they're wonderfully quiet, and you just can cruise around. The animals hardly even notice them, and when you stop it's total silence and you just listen to the birds and the animals. We rent some of the buggies from Ben Burgess. We actually have purchased some as well. The service has been fantastic. The Club Car buggies are really easy to drive. Guests get a little briefing at the beginning of each tour so that they feel confident about what they're doing, but really they're pretty foolproof, and the feedback has been fantastic. The animals are great, but driving the buggies is just a lot of fun.